I arrived at Fort Monmouth in 1976 and was there for 11 consecutive years. Went there as a promotable lieutenant colonel, fresh out of, from Fort Huachuca, and was assigned there and became project manager for the Position Location Reporting System, which was a joint Army Marine Corps program at the time. Managed over 120,000 items in the inventory, about a $4 billion budget, thousands of procurement actions, and then after that I was promoted to Major General and remained there as commander of CECOM. So it was 11 consecutive years out of a 34-year career in the Army. The Army corrected that. I think their intent was to keep someone there, sent me to all the schools, all the program management schools, et cetera, and so there was continuity. I think it was one of the greatest times in my career as I look back, because I got to know the people, I got to know the people in the community, the people that worked for me for years and years up there. I met General Page, Emmett Page, who was my mentor. We came together at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, after he graduated from the War College, the Army War College. I graduated from the Naval War College, and we both arrived at Fort Huachuca in the 1970s, late 74, 75 period of time. He went on to get promoted to Brigadier General and went up to command the Communications Systems Agency at Fort Monmouth. I was at the augmentation element of CSA at Fort Huachuca, and then he brought me to Fort Monmouth to serve under him. So Emmett has been my mentor all of these years and a good friend. I arrived at Fort Monmouth in 1955, right out of college, and I got a commission and reported into Fort Monmouth in 1955. And I drove from Buffalo, New York to Red Bank, New Jersey. And I stopped at a gas station and I asked for directions to Fort Monmouth. And they said, well, go down Highway 35 until you see a sign called the Triple S Diner, and turn left at that sign. 31 years later, I was a CG there, and we managed to program budget and get funded for a brand new, beautiful gate at Fort Monmouth. So no longer did we have to direct people to the Triple S to find Fort Monmouth's entrance. We had, which stands today, a beautiful gate there at Fort Monmouth. They actually named the gate Johnson after a Congressional Medal of Honor winner. But that was my gate, and took a great deal of pride in it, and it's standing today. I know the command has moved here, obviously, but the people I know back at Fort Monmouth that are in the local community are going to retain that gate as a historical landmark for Fort Monmouth. It was BRAC 93, and the Department of Defense recommended to the BRAC Commission that they move the headquarters, the CECOM headquarters, from Fort Monmouth out of a leased facility to Rock Island Arsenal. And I was very close to the people at Fort Monmouth and the congressional delegation there, and there were various factions that wanted to make a case before the BRAC to remain at Fort Monmouth. I advised the congressional delegation that the best argument was to support the BRAC initiative of getting out of a leased facility, because the 513th Military Intelligence Brigade moved, and the chaplain school eventually moved, and that freed up ample room for the headquarters to move out of that leased facility onto Fort Monmouth proper, and thus achieve one of the major objectives of BRAC 93 of getting out of a leased facility. Well, of course, hindsight is 20/20, and the great lesson that we learned from BRAC 93 was get out of leased facilities. You know, CECOM, ECOM was in that leased facility for years and years and years, and we didn't really think much about it. You know, the money was programmed, budgeted, and it wasn't until BRAC 93 that became, you know, the catalyst for trying to move the headquarters to Rock Island. So my advice to people at Aberdeen, if someone is thinking about breaking up CECOM into several subordinate commands, I would advise against it, because now you have everything in place. You have the readiness piece, the research and development piece, the laboratories, PEOs, and it's all located at one place. So that was a great lesson learned, I think. CECOM has had a great history in the Army, has brought forward modernizations across the board of systems that touch every weapon system in the Army: night vision, electro-optics, you name it.